Stepped up to the house party, kinda faded. J's on mask on, yeah, I'm kinda basic. You stood out, Halle Berry cut, amazing, amazing. Cause somebody was blazing.
Yes.
So tonight you probably heard some records from the previous weeks. If you're just tuning in, welcome. Hope you enjoyed the playlist. But now we have some things we want to talk about. So what's the first thing? HD, what you got?
Jai Morant. Now, John Morant had an interview with Jalen Rose. And Jalen Rose, he asked a weird question to me. I didn't like that question. He asked him who was holding the gun. I mean, who gun was it? I'm sorry. He asked him
That's
who
a fair
gun
question.
was it.
You don't think that's a fair question?
First of all, dog, you want me to incriminate myself? Why are you asking? Well, you working for the FBI at this point?
I mean, maybe he's assuming that the question that already been asked by the investigators.
I would never ask. First of all, I would never ask somebody.
No, is Jalen Rose even a real journalist?
Yeah,
He's a basketball player who
you gotta ask the tough questions sometimes, man.
I mean, this kid is he's already in a bunch of shit he don't need to be in.
But that's his fault.
That's his fault.
All right, but
bad
still.
decisions. And I want to be clear. I want to say something.
So, okay.
I want to say something because when this first happened, there was the first thing that people gravitated to, to excuse his bad decisions was mental health. And I want to say for the record, there's nothing wrong with John Morant. He's just a young man who lacks discipline and lacked boundaries. And so he thought he can get away with it. He made that decision. It was a poor decision, and now he's reaping the benefits of that. But there's nothing wrong with his mental health. We can't throw that around just carelessly because there's people who actually deal with that. So man up, bro. Just say, I made some bad decisions. That's it. And ain't nothing wrong. You going down to Florida for counseling for a day or two. For what? Somebody need to whip your behind. I'm going old school.
Joe, what the fuck is he
doing? You know what I'm going there, bro.
Joe, now he made a mistake, man. None of us are perfect. But actually, that man whose gun with it was crazy to me.
So, what do you think if he would have asked? So,
I think we supposed to protect each other. Period. You know what I mean? And that wasn't a question you asked if you're trying to protect somebody.
Unpack that for me. Protect each other. What you mean protect each other?
Him?
Huh? What you mean protect him? In what way?
Don't ask him questions like that where he could incriminate himself.
But he already did that.
He already put himself out there.
He's the one that put himself in this position. In fact, he's the reason why he's having this interview. He's the reason why he's being asked that question. He made those decisions. Unfortunately, they weren't the best ones. So these are the consequences to the decisions.
I'm not going to ask him that question.
I believe that John Morant knew the questions that were going to be asked.
Probably.
I mean, this is probably a whole setup.
And this is why again his team is off.
Trash.
Because me personally, I wouldn't have did an interview yet.
Period.
It's too early.
I agree.
He's just trying to clear. He's trying to clear his name.
I don't even think that, man. I think he's listening to whoever his publicist. Listen, we need you to get on there. I don't think he's even sincere or remorseful of what he did. I mean, did you guys get that when watching the video?
I think he's sorry he got caught. I don't know if he really is remorseful for like, oh, listen, I got to clear some stuff up, because you can be who yourself. I'm not saying you got to listen to classical music and stuff. You can have a good time as a young man, has some wealth, enjoy yourself. But you got to change the people you're around, and you got to make some better decisions, my guy.
Yeah, I don't think he's had that.
Yeah, I don't think he's learned his
I don't
lesson.
think he's had that moment yet where he realizes what kind of situation he's in. Because are we gonna treat him like a young man, or are we gonna treat him like a young kid? I'm
treating him like a young man. Make better decisions.
Only time will tell that, man.
True, it's too early to tell. Yeah,
and hopefully I hope he learned his lesson. And you got to make better decisions. But I totally didn't agree with that question.
Right, I feel you.
Maybe it wouldn't have been asked if he was on BET instead of ESPN. Since you want to protect black people, HD. HD again, everybody. HD stands for Hollywood Deals. We gave him that name last week when he came to the studio wearing a mink. So
yeah, go check that out.
Protect young black basketball players at all costs.
Listen, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button, follow button
on YouTube.
Kingsmen
Radio.
You know, it definitely will be.
Wouldn't it be nice if we got this show at some point on BET or something like that? There was a time where BET was, I feel like, black entertainment television. The music that was played and the programming. And then when they get bought up by Viacom?
They
like
did.
About 20 years ago?
And now Paramount owns them.
Paramount.
I'm just happy that black people are inquiring. You know?
Yeah, I'm happy about that
I think
too.
that's super dope, bro.
There was an interview that was done recently by Deborah. Who's the one that was owned over BET for a couple years? The female?
I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, anyway, she was a female executive that came to lead BET for several years.
She was the president, right?
The president, yeah. And she was doing an interview recently talking about how she worked for the company and how she began a romantic relationship with Bob Johnson.
Yeah.
And worked her way to the top, and how
he was holding it like
holding
things,
against her when she wanted to break up with him. He was saying, you can't work here, work anywhere, something like that.
Yeah, if you break up with me, you can't work here or you can't work anywhere, something like that.
Shame on you, Bob Johnson.
Well, we don't, that's allegedly. Allegedly, bro. Let's not believe everything we hear.
Okay. Well,
there's only one side of the story, y'all.
Yes, and my Bible says only a fool judges a matter before hearing both sides. Are you a fool?
Not at all.
Neither am I. HD, how about you?
Amen.
I'm not a fool.
No fool.
Just want to talk about this real quick. I love to laugh, and I love to laugh at things that are actually funny. And I love to give people the benefit of doubt, even if they're not funny. Speaking of not funny, unfortunately, I really wanted to check this out. So Chris Rock had a Netflix special that came out about 2 weeks ago, maybe, something like that. So I'll be honest, I never really was a big fan. Actually, I do like him in the movies, though. I think he's pretty dope in the movies. But his stand-up, never really made me like, So anyway, I was like, let me check this out. You know, wanted to see what he was going to say in response to what happened at the Oscars.
With,
you know,
Will Smith. Did he address it?
As Ron and I were speaking earlier, how he didn't talk for a whole year. He knew, listen, I'm going to work this until I get that moment where I can get the bag, especially with Netflix. Like, I'm sure he got a nice deal. But anyway, I decided to watch it, give some support, you know. And, you know, I was in it. But then I noticed within about 10 to 15 minutes of watching it, I didn't laugh not one time. And then when I noticed that I didn't laugh, I said, is it me? Maybe it's me. Maybe it's my humor.
Was that the response that came online? Like, most people were saying they didn't find it funny? Or?
Either people say it's funny or not, I'm still going to check it out, right? I'm going to give it a benefit of doubt. It just so happens that the people that I was hearing talking about it didn't really give it any light. But I didn't even get to it because I fell asleep.
Yeah, I fell asleep too, and I didn't think to go back and watch it.
Did you check it out?
No, I didn't see it yet. But I read some reviews on it. A lot of people didn't like it.
Didn't like it? I think you should go check it out just to see for yourself.
Give him some money.
Yeah, we could be wrong. You might find him funny. Yeah. You know, you could be a Chris Rock fan. I'm
a fan. I'm just like, if it's not funny, it's not funny. So.
But have you ever found him funny?
In certain movies, that's it. This will be the first time I even watched the stand-up comedy of his. Yeah, was he back? Yeah. Remember when they had the old comedy shows on BET? Back to that real quick. What was it? Def Jam Comedy? Was he ever on there?
Yeah, I think he did some hosting.
So then maybe he was a little funny, but I mean, I've never seen a stand-up.
So are you saying that just because he was on Def Comedy Jam, he might have been funny?
Def Comedy Jam was funny. Now, I don't care what. But
I'm saying, do you think everybody on there was funny?
Most people on there were funny back then, so maybe he just lost his edge and his content is no longer.
Okay, did you think he was funny back then?
I can't remember if he was on there, but if he was,
that is a problem.
He was funny.
Well, then he was funny. Okay, Dre, does that answer your question?
No, it doesn't, because you don't even remember.
But what I'm saying is, most people on Def Comedy Jam at that time were funny. So I'm gonna leave it at that, man.
Ron, you think most people on Def Comedy Jam was funny?
Yes.
You do?
With that, yes.
That show was
Def Comedy Jam was
hilarious.
I never was like disappointed in Def Comedy Jam.
You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, but Chris Rock, he wasn't one of the majority. He wasn't. I mean, you're quiet, Dales. Do you think he was funny? You think he's funny?
Hey, I thought he was funny on Def Comedy Jam. Yeah.
I mean, now do you think he's funny?
No,
I don't. No, I'm not. I like Chris Rock in movies.
So we all feel agreement to the fact that.
I just didn't see that special though.
But nothing made you want to like, all right, let me go check this out.
No, I did. I just haven't had the time. That's all.
But you know what? There's no hate, no shade. You really might find him funny. If you do, hey,
Go check it out.
Leave us a comment. Tell us something we don't know.
Yeah, make your own judgment based off of what it. Some people said they don't like the music that we play.
They do? I ain't hear that.
I ain't hear it either. I'm trying to.
So you putting things out there like
I'm trying
that.
to bridge the gap.
That ain't the gap we want to bridge.
Listen, we play music every week that's a variety, different feels, different tempos, different styles. So we, again, appreciate you guys tapping in every week with us. And,
pulled up to the scene with it. And I'm super clean with it. She was on the dance floor. Seemed like she was waiting for